Where we are is a consequence of stuff that we started to do 15 to 20 years ago. We were in no different position than a huge amount of other clubs in Ireland. We had a lot of people who were volunteering and doing good stuff for us. But once in, those volunteers couldn't get out. They were overwhelmed, underfunded, felt under pressure all the time, and really could just do their day job. They couldn't think about, what am I doing in the longer term scheme of things for the club? What's the impact I'm having, other than just coaching this young lad now, other than getting him out in the pitch and making him play for us at a weekend? So we decided that we had to come up with something, and that something was the overall strategic vision to start with, which was, look, this is about a conveyor belt. This is about making sure that the club is still going to be here in 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years' time. We need parents to buy in. We need coaches to buy in so that we have continuity in there, that the parents feel it's a much more inclusive and a safe environment for the kids. We need them to understand that we're adhering to all the standards that are in place around child protection, welfare, such as they were at the time and such as they've become. And the success was that we went from probably 35 to 40 mini players in 1 year to 230 the next. And that was done not just by the outreach, but also by the story we told, which was, this is a safe environment. You've got good people training your kids properly in a sport that will benefit them in other ways.
So there's a really feeling of belonging within the club, and also of a nurturing environment where our players are looked after, our young people are looked after.
Who had fun today? Who's coming back next week?
As child welfare officer, I do training sessions with all our coaches. They're all appropriately vetted. We have very clear procedures and policies that are displayed across the club in what is acceptable, what's unacceptable, what our expectation is of how our children are looked after. But we are very proactive in relation to anti-bullying policies, anti-discriminatory policies. We have a cross-community environment. We have gender equality within the club. We have no time or tolerance for anything within our club that is not inclusive. Child welfare is actually what's at the heart of how we develop, how we have succeeded, and how we will continue to succeed.
Well, everything we were doing had this plan in mind, which was, how does a club become sustainable and self-sufficient? Because it was very obvious at the time that you couldn't just keep going and raiding other clubs and whatever. So you had to have that growth from within. We'll have more people playing at a junior level, at a senior level, and ultimately feeding all those senior teams, which means A, we will put more teams on the pitch, which is hugely important for the community. But B, and more importantly, if we do the right things from a coaching point of view, then those teams' abilities will increase as well.
As a senior coach, I suppose the sort of player that I know I'm going to get is that resilient player, that guy that has a little bit of understanding around general rugby shape, does all the basics very well, and you know he's not afraid of hard work, and he wants to get stuck in, and get your trainings in and realise that's what it takes to play All Ireland rugby. To have a good steady stream of quality players, it just means we're starting from a high level. Sustainability will come with us keep pushing on. We can't afford to sit back. We can't just relax that we have a little bit of recent success, but the guys behind the scenes are working very hard on our club development. We're very keen to keep our youth structure going, and our mini rugby's feeding into it, and when we have that, you can take off the rough edges and you can really start to build something.
But I think people do get hung up about success is what your first team is doing on the pitch, and it's don't get me wrong, it's very important, because that is a headline and that shows how far you've come as a club. But the metrics behind that are equally important. How are your seconds doing? How are your thirds doing? So we were always aiming to have all of those things come through, but the main focus being on the better participation we have, the maximised participation we have, the standards will rise because we will attract better people. Kids of 16 to 18 age group particularly have got other challenges in their life, whether it can be drugs and alcohol on the worst side of things, it can be girlfriends and jobs on the nicer side of things. So you're constantly trying to make sure that you're giving them something that they feel is fulfilling in their lives and it's rewarding in their lives. That doesn't have to be victory on the pitch every Saturday. As long as they're with their mates, having a really good time and enjoying it and think they're doing something that's productive, they will turn up, and their parents will encourage them to turn up as well. So the winning is the bonus. The 4 or 5 players from our under 18 setup of 2 years ago playing in 1B, that to me underlines absolutely everything that we're trying to do with this club.
Yeah, I've been here ever since B4 and just been through the system, up minis and youth, and a great youth team here playing seniors. It's just such a great club, such a community feel to it, and you have older people wanting you to stay and asking you, how do you get on today, kind of keep you intrigued in Armagh here,
It's a real community team. Whereas everybody's buying into the same thing right from the minis through the youth and into the senior squad, everybody's working towards the same goal. So probably a sense of community around the thing is the best. We've gained a lot from the club. You just want to give back something.
I know myself, like, I'm helping under 16s, and I don't think anything will take me away from here, like walking out in the Saturday, to tell you the truth.